I created this anchor chart for you guys to use as a reference when you are measuring angles. So the first thing we're going to review, and this is from a previous unit, is benchmark angles, because this is what's going to help you when you are trying to find the value of some unknown angles. So a straight angle. So a straight angle measures exactly 180 degrees, and it looks like this diagram right here. It forms a straight line, which is why they call it a straight angle. So to get from here to here, the angle would measure 180 degrees. Let's look at a right angle. A right angle measures exactly 90 degrees, and it kind of looks like an L. And you'll often see that when they show you a right angle, they put a box for the measure to show that it measures 90 degrees. So that's a right angle. This is an example of an acute angle, which measures less than 90 degrees. So it's going to be smaller than this right angle diagram. So this was just an example. So the measure from here to here is going to be less than 90 degrees, and we call that an acute angle. And last is the opposite, which is an obtuse angle. It measures more than 90 degrees, but less than 180. So as you can see, if I pretended that there was a right angle here, you could see that it's bigger. So an obtuse angle, so this angle here is going to measure, if this was the name of the angle, let's put an X here, it's going to be greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. That is an obtuse angle. So that was just a little bit of a review. You guys have to know the measures of these benchmark angles to help you solve. If you don't know them, it's going to be very hard for you to find the missing values. So try to remember those 4 types of angles. A straight angle, which is 180 degrees. A right angle, which measures 90 degrees. An acute angle, I like to think of things that are acute, they're small, so it's less than 90 degrees. And obtuse, it's more than 90 degrees, but less than 180. Okay, let's take a look at additive angles. That's a fancy way of saying you're adding different angle measures, additive angles. So there's 2 different scenarios that you are going to get into. The first one is, if you know the whole angle, okay, it's measured here in green, 50 degrees, you know the whole angle measure, and one part. So the part we know is this orange bit here that says 15 degrees. Subtract to find the missing angle. So 50 minus 15 is 35 degrees. So that means that this unknown value here is 35 degrees. Okay, the next way to do additive angles is if you know both parts of the angle measure, you're going to add to find the whole angle measurement. So as you can see, we know the parts, which are listed here in green. Angle ABD is 40 degrees and angle DBC is 70 degrees. So I'm going to add them to find the measure of angle ABC, which is shown here in orange, and that equals 110 degrees. So while you're going through this lesson and lessons from here on out, use this chart to help you. It's going to be posted in your Google Classroom, so make sure you're referring to it if you ever forget what an angle equals. Okay, you're going to be seeing some new vocabulary in this lesson. So supplementary angles are 2 angle measures that add up to 180 degrees. So they're going to be shown here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So this is a straight angle. So it is a straight angle. Oop, and I realized I spelled straight wrong. My eraser's too big, I don't want to delete it. So a straight angle, I know, is equal to 180 degrees, which is shown in red. So if I took the measure that's 105 degrees and added 75 degrees, I would know that the whole angle is 180 degrees. And I did that math over on the side. That is called a supplementary angle. And I like to think of it as S for supplementary and an S for straight. That's how I remember that it's two angles that add up to exactly 180 degrees. Okay, a complementary angle are two angles that equal 90 degrees. So you can see here I have a right angle, and then inside I have one angle that measures 55 degrees and one angle that measures 35 degrees. If I added those up like I did on the side, it would show me that the angle that's in red equals exactly 90 degrees. So those are the two different types of angles that we're going to look at today. So let's do some practice problems. I have 3 practice problems listed here. Now, just by looking at this angle, and let's give it some names. So I wanted it in pink. So this is A, B, C, and D. So we know that angle ABD is 65 degrees. So angle ABD is 65 degrees. But we don't know what angle DBC is. We're not sure. How are we going to solve? Well, we know that this whole angle is 90 degrees because of the way it's shaped. So if I know that that equals, this is angle ABC, is 90 degrees. And I could tell it's shaped like an L. It has a square to measure its angle. It is a 90-degree angle. So inside this whole thing measures 90 degrees. So I have to think to myself, I know that the whole thing is 90 degrees. And I know that one measure is 65 plus X would give me 90 degrees. You can also subtract 90 minus 65, and that would equal, so 90 minus 65 equals 25 degrees. So I know B equals 25 degrees because it has to add up to that 90 degrees because it is a right angle. Okay, let's look at the next problem. Right away, I know that this is a right angle. So we have two angles inside, and it's going to equal 90 degrees. So from here to here equals 90 degrees. I don't know what this angle measure is, so I'm going to leave it as B. I do know what this angle measure is, and it's 70. So you could either leave it as a addition problem, or you could turn it into a subtraction problem. 90 degrees minus 70 degrees equals 20 degrees. So I now that B equals 20 degrees. And the only way I know how to solve this is because I know that this is a right angle. And a right angle has a measure of 90 degrees. So these are two examples of the complementary angles. Here's an example of a supplementary angle. I know that a straight angle has a measure of 180 degrees, always. It'll never change. And we have two angles inside that have to equal 180 degrees when they're added together. So I know that the angle here is 55 degrees, but I don't know what this angle here is, and they put it as B. So if I switch this from a addition to a subtraction, it would be 180 minus 55 degrees, which would give me 125. So I know that B is equal to 125 degrees. Okay, I hope it's starting to make a little bit more sense. I'm going to walk through how you guys are going to do your journal pages, so click on the next video.